Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Today we are continuing our 14 game ladder series between Rain and ZeLoT. If you've missed any of the 6 previous games, they're all on the channel. You can just kind of type it in. They are posted in chronological order. But yeah, we're going into game 7, which means we're at the halfway point. I still can't believe that these two queued into each other literally 14 times in a row and continued to play, but I love it because we're watching like an evolution of the metagame of these players. Really interesting, especially with the differences in style, right? Like Rain being, well, I don't want to call him defensive, but just like a very cognitive player, very smart about what he's doing, and then ZeLoT as the most aggressive player. I love the dichotomy of that. And I think that that's where you get like a lot of very interesting matches because it's kind of like both the styles fight against each other. And I would generally say the cognitive player is a little bit stronger against the aggressive player. The macro player is generally a little bit weaker against the aggressive player, but stronger against the cognitive player. Now, all of these things overlap somewhat, so I don't want to make it seem like it's these hard and fast rules or anything, but I think that's generally a good way to think about it, right? If you're just a mechanical beast that makes as many units as you possibly can, right? The cognitive player that's normally winning by kind of outsmarting people is generally not going to be able to outsmart you because you've just maximized your units. But they are going to be able to outsmart people that are doing things that are not completely optimized. Now, and that would include someone that's like very highly aggressive, because obviously what's optimized a lot of the time is the aggression or like a kind of a trick in there, which the brainy player can figure out. But then you look at it and it's like, okay, well, if you're optimizing your entire economy the whole game as a macro player, generally the aggressive player is going to have a little edge on you, right? Because they're going to be like, okay, well, you're taking your third bases quick. I have, my attack is going to knock that out, something like that, right? And of course, again, all of this is not hard and fast. There are ways that are generally considered stronger to play than other ways. Like mechanical is considered stronger, but it's not always the case. But yeah, that's kind of my take on it. And after 25 years of studying StarCraft and casting all the pros all the time, StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2, and all that, that is certainly something I've seen reflected overall in the pro games. So take from that what you will. My prediction is that Rain will end up on top here against ZeLoT. And the thing is, I think he is just straight better than ZeLoT anyways, so that helps with the prediction, obviously. But yeah, I think stylistically as well, that's a big part of it. In fact, you won't find me say many people are better than Rain, including the Terran players. He's a fantastic player. Anyways, let's talk about this game. We're on Retro. Right, it's a gateway expansion. Hasn't really put the pressure on because it was an overpool. The probe's still alive, still running around. He's going to see when the gas starts getting mined, so he's going to have a fairly good idea of what timings can come out. Right, it's like, well, those start mining. 10 seconds later, you could build a Hydralisk den, or 20 seconds later, you could build a layer, that type of thing, or circling speed. Now the probe going to run away, and of course we see that there is going to be 3 hatches. And there's the Hydralisk den again. But, one thing I want to mention, like you might look at this and say, God, he's just such a cheesy 3-hatch Hydra player. And that is one way to look at it. But also, he's very good at utilizing this in different ways, right? He has the all-in. He has macro plays behind it. And honestly, 3-hatch Hydra can go into macro builds reasonably well. If you make them over cannon at all or deal any damage at all, you can absolutely follow up with a strong macro game. Either way, we have 3 ZeLoTs coming out, and that is just enough to bash through these lings. Like, ZeLoT should run away and just make more lings and then try to engage. Looking back at Rain's base, he does have that Cybernetics core on the way. Already has a photon cannon up, so looking pretty safe there. Sending more ZeLoTs as well. 3 more ZeLoTs coming. So really what he wants to do here is pull back. See, he's like faking almost walking forward. Now he'll back up, join up, and now with 6 ZeLoTs, well, this one got caught there. So Now with 6-ish ZeLoTs, he's going to be able to push a lot better. Now he sees the Hydras. The Hydras don't have upgrades yet, as he can see, so he's going to go forward and just attack and hope he can maybe reduce the Hydra count as well. So the Lings are going to fall really, really quickly, as you can see. Still 4 or 5 ZeLoTs left. This one goes against the drones. Love to see it. And now we have very good micro here from ZeLoT. I think he will end up losing a Hydra or two, most likely. Look at this. The splits are just too good. And very good micro from ZeLoT, that's for sure. You can see these 2 very red ones trying to get away. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I can't believe he saved both those. It's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, this ZeLoT going to try to run away. This one's going towards the 3rd base where there are some drones, and in fact, only drones being made. So that's problematic for ZeLoT. He's not going to be happy about that. He does have the range upgrade being made right now. Photon cannons are being made at home for Rain, who also is making a Dragoon, and that's going to be to push this back. Okay, he wants to get an Overlord kill here, I think. That's my takeaway, because 1 Dragoon doesn't really help the defense against Hydras, even though it has range. There is actually a very interesting build where you go, like, I think it's 3 or 4 gate Dragoon with range against 3 hatch Hydra. I don't think we're going to see that because he is a Stargate guy. That's kind of a newer build. I've talked about it a couple times. I think I casted 1 or 2 games of it, maybe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. It might not have. Yeah, I think one of them might have been in the NAPL. But anyways, whatever. I'm like, I've casted so many games. It takes me a minute to try to remember what I've done. Now, let's take a look. The drone count is what you're looking for here, right? 22. We talked about that before, the 973, and then also 3 on gas, obviously. Hydra's moving forward. He does have the layer on the way, and he is adding some drones and just a few Hydras. So this is not entirely, like, look, the Corsair gets here and sees the layer, so he knows this is not entirely like an all-in, right? It's not just this huge bust. Not nearly as many Hydras as we saw in the previous couple of games. Instead, this is like, okay, we're going to hit the wall. We're going to try to make you make too many cannons, put up a little containment, that type of thing, right? And drone behind it a bit. Now, there are more Hydras in the way. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. Look at this. 3 Hydras, 2 drones. So is this going to continue? It's like sometimes what you'll see, and look at this, he actually has 2 forges going up, and this forge hasn't died, which is kind of funny. So he's going to have 3 forges. He won't start plasma shields. Don't worry. That's too crazy. But yeah, sometimes you can see really unoptimized plays end up winning. Like if this Corsair wasn't flying around, like if he had somehow... Well, I guess he's got 3 Corsairs at this point, but like if he had somehow, like let's say he made 1 Corsair for scouting, he accidentally loses it. There could be a world in which, with the layer, he just goes back in Hydras and busts this before, like, Storm or anything like that, right? Now, we see that is not going to occur here. But, you know, I'm just pointing out that, like, that could be an interesting play. Now, Spire is on the way, as well as the Lurker upgrade. We saw the Lurker upgrade in the previous game, and Rain had moved out just in time before the Lurkers were ready. This game looks very, very different from what we've seen previously, right? Like this is, instead he's got his double forge running. He has Psystorm on the way already. You know, he's only got 1 gate right now. He is adding some gates, and he's just like he's teched up a little bit quicker, right? He's made a little bit more as far as Corsairs go. He's continually getting that scouting, and he's seeing like, okay, I'm not really in danger here. We can spend on upgrades right now, build the infrastructure out a little bit better. And you can see his probe count is very, very healthy as well at 48. Right, 48 is a very, very good saturation for 2 bases. You're generally looking at 44 to 48-ish for a full 2 base, where like you want to just produce as much as you can on 2 base for a bit. That's right in the range that you want. In fact, the higher end of the range here for Rain. Now, some Lurkers being made. Do we have a Robo started? There's the Robo. It has been started. But obviously the Lurkers are going to be done well in advance of any observers. He does have a fair amount of Zealots, and he's about to have legs. But I think he's just going to miss the move-out timing here, right? We saw previously where he did do a move-out. It was more Zealots than this, and he had Storm as well. So this is a very different game. Obviously, it's a quicker layer this time, so the Lurkers are quicker as well, right? So everything's kind of pushed forward. But this is kind of far back, so Rain actually just runs by. And he has enough defense here. He's not afraid of this set of units. Okay, so now we have a lot of Zealots out on the map. What does he get done with those? One Zealot's up here. What do we have defensively? These two are on the ramp. He'd probably make eggs out of those if the Zealots come, just to buy some time to bring other units up, because the eggs have such high armor. The Zealots have a terrible time, especially attacking from low ground to high ground. 4 hatches here. So that's kind of a funny, I never see this, I have to say. That's kind of novel to me, right? Normally what you have is 1 hatch in the main. You always have 2 hatch here and generally 3 hatch here, but he's moved that additional hatch to this 3rd base location. And this is actually a safer area in a lot of ways. This will probably never die. If Rain wins this game anytime soon, it'll be a push through the natural. Almost 100%. Now he is going to have to kill off some of these cannons. Which do you want to kill? You can either kill, like, maybe this and this. That's not very good. I think you kill these 3, honestly. There is a world where maybe you just kill the pylon if you are really wanting these cannons still here. But then you have to... is that in range of that? I don't think it is. Yeah, so it, like, the whole Sim City here is jacked. Dragoon range is finishing up. He does have 1/1 now, starts that +2 armor as well, and he does choose to kill the 3 cannons, which probably at the end of the day is the best thing. You don't really need those anymore. Okay, so the Zealot's coming down. This might be for a flank. This is really interesting, actually. He comes out with the Observer. Oh, no! He does end up losing that Observer, so that's very painful. Now, the Zealots were coming down. I think what his idea was here was to flank. The Zealots come in behind. They probably would have run down and checked if the Hydras were running to the north, and they mirror. If the Hydras are running towards the ramp, they go down, right, to block the ramp. And then he just sandwiches this entire army. Now, because that Scourge killed the Observer and he couldn't move forward, Rain has to try something else. He's actually going to move up towards his own 3rd base location, which has a very light contain, but an annoying one with the lurkers up there. More Hydras coming up as well. Wow, this is a big commitment to this containment because these units can't get out. Insanely good storms. Oh, that's a good egg. That's a good egg. But yeah, he's going to get wiped here really quickly. So I feel like this was... I see the idea. I like the smaller contain he had here and the amount of time that bought him. But that got completely smacked when he brought up the other Hydras and the flank of Zealots came in. So this group of Zealots that Rain originally ran out, he's getting so much mileage out of this. This would have been a stronger move if he hadn't lost the Observer. This secondary move he made, still very, very good. I'm actually getting some chills thinking about it. Just such great tactical play. Now, Rain moving forward right now. He's going to knock out these lurkers in a matter of seconds. The Hydralisk count is very, very small there, so he does have to end up backing up. The group of Zealots that was up here did get cleared. This is why the army down here was so small, is because he had a lot of Hydras to the north. And this is going to force a cancel on the 3rd base, which is a huge move. Now, the Hydra's running back up the ramp. He wants to make sure he doesn't lose this area. He's pulling these back because they have nowhere else to go. But does he have enough defense here? I think that's the big question, because you're not going to force your way up this ramp, but you might be able to force your way into the natural expansion. So suddenly, okay, seriously, I'm getting a lot of chills this game because we're seeing unbelievable tactics on both sides. Rain has made a string of really smart moves, but the reason he broke out of the contain so easily was that the counterattack of Hydras was up here. It cleared those Zealots and cleared the 3rd. So now Rain is sitting here on 2 base. He wanted to have his 3rd up and running by now. He doesn't. He is going to loop back and clear this and get that 3rd started. But of course, now the 3rd start time is minutes after when he would have had his 3rd already up and running. So that's rough. And when you start looking at mineral patches, it's like, okay, you can't lose that again. It literally has to stay alive this time or you're going to lose the game. Now, a lot of Hydras coming in the center. This is a little bit sloppy. He does pick that High Templar, so not bad there. And he definitely wants to pull that back. Does, in fact, start to pull up a little flank of Dragoons there, doing a great job. A lot of Hydras being macroed out, and in fact, he brings a lot of his units forward here. Oh my God, can he get these High Templars? Oh, one good storm goes off, picks off 2 of them. This is a smaller army, so he is going to get sandwiched here. Look at this. The Observer comes up, absolutely smashing through this army of ZeLoT. So right there, I think that this move from ZeLoT, I see what he was trying to do. He's trying to cut off some reinforcements, pick off some High Templars, and he did kind of do that. But now he's lost several groups of units that, I mean, with them, he'd have a lot more supply. As you can see here, it's about a 40 supply advantage here for Rain. That's pretty significant. What do you do here as ZeLoT? It's not like you can tech up more. It's really about just making Hydra Lurker and making something work, getting some sort of position. But you can do things like turtle this area, and it's a very strong turtle, and you can turtle up here, and it's a strong turtle, but you can't get a fourth base like that. So, like, ZeLoT either has to, like, attack and deal damage, or figure out a way to get his own fourth base and then fifth base up pretty quickly, and I don't see a way to do that right now. Rain chasing these Hydras way back. He's zoned everything extremely well. He's got reasonable defense here. A lot of probes being sent up as he runs out of mineral patches in the main base. Looks like this group of Hydra is going to have to micro back. Like, I like the group up here. He's kind of zoning things out. These two bases are the likely ones for his additional expansions. But now Rain rotating down. Not a lot of units here. Oh, he's switching into mutas. Oh my god. And he's actually getting drops as well. Now, the mutas, I mean, with no Psystorm, they'll do like kind of okay. Obviously, they do well against those leading Zealots. Ooh, a big Psystorm there onto the Hydras. But this is enough Dragoons to slaughter them. So has to use them intelligently here. Might just be diving for High Templars. This one doesn't have enough energy for another Storm. He is making a lot, man. He's got like 15 mutas right now, or 16 mutas right now. The 11 muta is going to go towards that third base. Is that the plan here for ZeLoT? I'm not so sure. He flies around, might be looking for High Templar kills. Ooh, gets one right there, and that had enough for a Storm. There's 3 left over here, 2 Corsairs as well, and he's going for more High Templars. Going to fly over, check what's here, sees some Zealots, flies up to this additional base. Ooh, good Psystorms. Oh my god. Oh my god. Brings him down to 7 very damaged mutas in a matter of seconds. Excellent Storms, and the Corsair is going to help to finish them off. Dude, that is 1,100 minerals and 1,100 gas that has been eliminated in a matter of seconds. I think that the idea by ZeLoT was not bad, but Rain's defense of it was too strong. Like, obviously, ZeLoT was a little bit behind, and he needed to do something special to come back. And a Mutalisk tech switch in this matchup is a strong option, but great defense there from Rain, who now is taking his own 4th base ahead of ZeLoT taking a 4th base. Now, ZeLoT looks like he wants to take this as a 4th. This is going to turtle him up into a tiny area. If you're going to take that as a 4th, you either have to win through these drops that you're getting. Well, that's for Overlord's speed. He already has the drop upgrade. You either have to win through the drops or you have to go to Hive if you have this 4-base configuration. There's just not going to be anything else available. Now, the additional mutas fly out. He made another 11 mutas. Holy crap. Does get rid of a lot of High Templars. In fact, no Storms left, as you can see. Not enough energy on this High Templar. The muta's going to fly out. That's kind of big, right? Like, Hydras are pretty darn strong if there's no Psystorm. But we do have 2/2 upgrades here against just +2. Although, you know, the Zerg upgrades do scale a little bit better in this case. Comes in, trying to pick off more High Templars. Ooh, eating a lot of damage. So low. Everything gets blown up. Are you kidding me there? Ridiculous. But the Psystorm counts are very low now. Unfortunately for him, there is another one, and the army is still very large as well. Tons of Hydras rallying over here from ZeLoT, but I think he just barely doesn't have enough, especially after that Storm right there. Just burying more and more Hydras. I think Rain has basically done it. GG is called. And I tell you what, that was a very, very cool game. Lots of strong tactics from both sides. Maybe a few very minor mistakes from both sides that they both capitalized on very, very well. But truly an excellent game number 7. And Rain gonna go ahead and take the lead. Guys, thanks for watching.